Got quiet in here, didn't it? Didn't it get real quiet?
You ever watch an interview and think, why are they asking that? Not about the movie.
What was your first job or what was your worst job?
Denzel has been hit with question after question that crosses the line. Not about the craft, not even about the story, but about something personal, invasive, almost like they're fishing for a headline. And if you've seen enough Hollywood press, you already know the game. They don't want an answer. They want a moment, a clip, a soundbite, a slip-up. And that's exactly why this Denzel Washington moment still hits different. Because in 2004, he's sitting across from Couric for NBC News, promoting the Manchurian Candidate, and she drops a loaded question that basically translates to, stay in your lane. She asks him if he agrees with the idea that Hollywood folks should just stick to acting. And Denzel doesn't laugh it off. He doesn't play nice. He looks at the label.
No, what they say?
You switched your support.
I switched yeah.
What do you make of all the fake news and it affects
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
And rips it apart. I don't know what Hollywood folks are. I'm not a Hollywood folk. And then he gets even sharper. I'm a human being. My job is acting, not angry, not messy, just done. And here's the crazy part. That wasn't a one-time thing about his identity, his marriage, his role in society, even what Hollywood thinks he's allowed to be. Andy has this rare ability to do something most celebrities can't. He shuts it down without selling his soul to the interview.
I'd like to know what's the
I'm not telling you.
What's the
I refuse. I don't want to talk to you.
what's the
No, I refuse.
So today, we're breaking down the most uncomfortable, invasive, and straight-up bizarre Hollywood questions Denzel has faced on camera, and the exact moments where he pushed back, flipped the script, and exposed the whole game. And near the end, we'll get to the moment that explains why he's like this, why he doesn't bend, why he doesn't perform for approval, and why Hollywood can't quite figure him out. Let's get into it. Moment number 1. The Hollywood folks trap. This is one of those questions that sounds polite until you hear what it's really doing, because Hollywood folks isn't a compliment. It's a box. It's a way of saying, you're not a real person with real opinions, so stay quiet. And Denzel immediately sniffs that out. He says he doesn't even know what Hollywood folks means. He describes Hollywood as a town with stars on the sidewalk, and says he doesn't know anybody from there. Then Katie tries to recover. She starts rephrasing, and she slips. Are you one of those people that... And Denzel catches it like a hawk. Ah, there you go. Am I one of those people? Isn't that interesting? That right there? That's not a celebrity answering a question. That's a man calling out a tactic. He's basically saying, you're not interviewing me. You're trying to sort me into a category. And then he lands the final line. I'm a human being. My job is acting. Translation, stop trying to reduce me. Stop trying to brand me. Stop trying to bait me. And if you've ever felt like someone was talking to a stereotype instead of talking to you, you know exactly why that moment is so satisfying. Moment number 2. Why don't you do romance? Now this one is sneaky, because it doesn't sound creepy at first. It sounds like harmless curiosity. But what it really reveals is how Hollywood views people like products. Ed Bradley asks why Denzel hasn't done more romance. And Denzel's answer is immediate. I'm not offered any. Not, I'm too busy. Not, I just didn't feel like it. Just, they don't offer it. And then he takes it deeper. He says that if it's a love story with him and a black woman, Hollywood didn't see it as big business. That is a brutal sentence, because it exposes a whole era of the industry. He's not talking about feelings. He's talking about the machine. The same machine that will celebrate you on posters, while quietly deciding what kind of love you're allowed to represent. And Denzel doesn't say it with rage. He says it like a fact, which somehow makes it hit harder. Moment number 3. The love scene question. This is where it starts feeling really invasive, because Hollywood has this weird habit of acting like intimate scenes are art, while asking about them like it's gossip. And when Ed Bradley asks about intimate scenes, Denzel doesn't play coy. He drops a principle. Less is more. And then he goes even harder. People take their clothes off for nothing nowadays. That line is important, because he's not just answering the question. He's judging the culture behind it. He's basically saying, why are we so addicted to exposure? Why is everyone so eager to sell their privacy for applause? And the reason that hits on live TV is because Denzel isn't pretending this is normal. He's not laughing along like, haha, yeah, Hollywood. He's quietly pointing out something most people feel but don't say. A lot of this industry is obsessed with pushing boundaries, just to prove it can. Moment number 4. The next Sidney Poitier. This is one of the most Hollywood questions ever, because it sounds respectful, but it carries a message. There can only be one. Ed Bradley brings up the constant comparison to Sidney Poitier, and Denzel admits that, at first, it upset him. Why? Because the comparison quietly implies there weren't other great black actors in between. He says it was almost insulting, like, oh, you're the next Sidney, as if nobody else mattered. The entire generation between them. And then he makes it crystal clear. He's not trying to carry the torch. There are other actors, other careers, other lanes. That moment exposes another Hollywood habit. They don't just interview you. They assign you a role in history, and Denzel refuses the assignment. Moment number 5. The culture question that turned into a lesson. The question: why did August Wilson insist on a black director? Is this about race? Denzel's response: he reframes it as culture and gives a detail you can literally smell. This one isn't creepy in a weird personal way. It's creepy in a different way. It's the kind of question that tries to flatten something deeply human into a headline. Bill Whitaker asks about August Wilson's insistence on a black director for Fences, and Denzel doesn't dodge. He explains the difference between race and culture, and then he paints a picture that's so specific, you can almost hear the church shoes on the floor. He talks about the smell of a hot comb on a Sunday morning when his sister is getting ready for it. Church. That's not just a clever answer. That's Denzel saying, you can't reduce a people's experience to a talking point. He's setting a boundary again. You can analyze our stories, but don't pretend you can own them without understanding them. Moment number 6. The superhero tights. This is where Denzel shows another kind of power. He can disarm a question without being disrespectful. Whitaker asks if he'd ever join a superhero franchise, and Denzel hits him with a line that's both funny and final. He might be a little beyond the tights years. That's the move. No rant, no lecture. Just a clean exit. Because sometimes the best boundary isn't a fight. It's a sentence that says, I'm not playing that game. Moment number 7. Oprah's jealousy question. This is where you realize sometimes the creepy part of Hollywood isn't scandal, it's obsession. Because when you're a famous man, interviewers feel way too comfortable talking about you, like you're a public attraction. Oprah asks Pauletta if she gets jealous when women swoon over Denzel. And Pauletta doesn't hesitate. No. You know why? He's coming home. That response is perfect. Not defensive. Not insecure. Not dramatic. Just confident. And if you watch moments like that, you can tell something about Denzel's world. He's not built around Hollywood attention. He's built around home. Around commitment. Around loyalty. Around the kind of life that doesn't need strangers to validate it. Moment number 8. The press junket question he refused to entertain. Press junkets are where the weirdest questions happen. Because everyone's on a clock, and interviewers are trying to get something, anything, that feels different. So Layla McKinnon asks Denzel who his favorite past co-star was, and Denzel doesn't even pretend. I don't look back. For what? That's a boundary. He's basically saying, I'm here to talk about this film, not to play the nostalgia game, not to name drop, not to give you a quote you can headline. And whether you think that's rude or refreshing, you can't deny what it reveals. Denzel doesn't treat interviews like a performance. He treats them like a transaction. And if it's not honest, he doesn't buy in. Why this keeps happening, and why Denzel stays unmoved. So what's the thread running through all of these? Because on the surface, these moments look different. Politics bait, romance questions, intimate scene talk, race framing, marriage prying, press junket fluff. But underneath, it's the same energy. Hollywood wants access. Access to your beliefs. Access to your private life. Access to your identity. And Denzel keeps doing the same thing every time. He protects the core. And if you've followed him recently, you know why that makes sense. In a personal essay for Esquire while promoting Gladiator 2, Denzel talked openly about faith and about how Hollywood treats it. He said, being religious in Hollywood isn't fashionable. It isn't sexy. And his attitude was basically, I don't care what anyone thinks. Then in December 2024, he went even further. Publicly. He was baptized during a ceremony at Kelly Temple Church of God in Christ in Harlem and received a minister's license in a service that was live-streamed. That's not a PR move. That's not a studio talking point. That's a man planting a flag. And suddenly all those interview moments make more sense. Because when your identity is rooted in something bigger than applause, you don't panic when someone tries to bait you. You don't crumble when someone tries to label you. You don't dance when someone waves a microphone like it's a leash. You just tell the truth and let the awkward silence do the rest. The real takeaway. 3 things Denzel teaches without preaching. If you want the practical lesson from all this, it's simple. 1. Don't accept labels you didn't choose. Hollywood folks. One of those people. The next, Denzel rejects it immediately, because labels are how people control narratives. 2. Answer the motive, not just the words. Some questions aren't questions. They're accusations in disguise, or bait dressed up as curiosity. Denzel responds to what they're trying to do, not just what they said. 3. Keep your anchor outside the room. This is the biggest one. If your anchor is applause, interviews own you. If your anchor is identity, headlines shake you. But if your anchor is something deeper, faith, family, purpose, then you can sit in any room, with any host, under any lights, and still be yourself. So let me ask you, which moment hit the hardest? The Katie Couric Hollywood folks trap, the 60 Minutes lines about romance in the industry, the Oprah jealousy question, or the unstoppable press junket shutdown? Drop your answer in the comments, because I know people are going to disagree on this. And if you want more videos breaking down real celebrity moments like this, when the mask slips, when the media pushes too far, and someone finally pushes back, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because the next one is even wilder.